They're crooks. Listen, I was talking to somebody not long ago. I don't know how long ago, but now you got Christian musicians that want to be thugs. Now you know, and I'm going to put it out there. Now you know that they punks. That's right. Listen, let me tell you something. You can look and see a chump from a mile away. And listen, I'm not the one to play. I'm telling you today, look, you're living in a time where people just say and do anything. The same beast or the same thing with they're being reincarnated as Lucifers or Shabbat. They want to control the worship. They want to control the praise, but they don't want to open up the Bible. They don't want to be delivered. They don't want to accept Jesus or Yeshua as their Lord and Savior. All they want to do is play and get your money, and they think everything's funny. And look, they even got websites out how they talk about leaders and pastors. I'm talking about it right now. See, because you got to bring this stuff down. There is a space and there's some things in some order to the things of God, and you can't allow foolishness and a chump to take you over. That's right. Listen, you got power over them. You better believe me when I'm telling you. You had power over them when you were in the streets, and you got power over them in the church. I didn't allow that. And I didn't allow somebody to come into my space when I wasn't saved. Why in the world would I let somebody that looks like you do that in the church? And the thing about it, they don't realize why they talking and threatening about taking a life. They don't realize that sin brings death anyway. So let's read on and find out what happens to the chump. That's right. Let's see what happens to the one that listens to that voice, that won't obey the things of God, that allows themselves to be taken out of place. Okay? And the first thing that they do, now I got to go back, because Yehovah asked, or Adonai asked the question. Adonai said to Cain, "Where is Hevel, your brother?" And the first thing they want to do is be sarcastic. They want to think that they're smarter than you. But I'm going to tell you something. Their judgment is coming to them. So they come with sarcastic, twisted with a weak voice and spirit. In most cases, they're really cowards. That's right. And he replied, "I don't know. Am I my brother's guardian?" See, they take that position of wanting to be tough, but they don't want to take the consequences. They take the position of being a thief and a manipulator, but they don't want the consequences that go behind it. They take the position of being a rapist and raping, but they are not man enough to take the position that comes behind what they did or their actions. And they think that they should get away with it. They think after they've done the act, and judgment's going to come down based on the act. He says, "What have you done?" The voice of thy brother's blood is crying out from the ground. Now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood, and your hands went. Now, the ground was open. Let's catch this. I got to make sure you get this. You are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood, and at your hands. It was at your hands that the earth opened up to receive your brother's blood. When you farm the ground, it will no longer grow or yield its strength to you. You will be a fugitive wandering in earth. And now this is judgment set down. Cain said to Adonai, "My punishment is greater than I can bear." You know why? Because fear was in the air. And that's the thing about the dear brothers and sisters. See, you can't listen and follow them because they're not man enough to stand on what they've done. They're not ready to face the punishment or any of that. No, that's not what they're going to do. What they're going to do is just the opposite. They're going to do just the opposite. What they're going to do is cry. They're going to cry and whine. They're thinking of another way. You know, I shouldn't be doing this. There were people that did more than this and that. You know, what they're wrong, they ain't never got to a place of forgiveness. They got all that pride and they want to do everything to make it like, you know, what I did was nothing. But what you did, here's the judgment for it. You know, now there was a space, you know, when if you are doing what is good, shouldn't you hold up your head high? Question. See, you want to think that you're justified in doing wrong. You know, listen, let me tell you something. Peter Pan and all that kind of stuff, those were cartoons. And they may have been people in real life and things like that. But I'm going to tell you something. If you take something that don't belong to you, you stole it. That's it. And God is saying, don't do that. That could be in relationships. That could be in friendships. That could be in the job. Whatever it is. God is telling you tonight, do not do it. I heard the Lord say it very clearly. Tell them, do not do it. Don't do that. It's imperative at this time that we don't follow behind people, false prophets, false teachers, false friends, follow behind it in a bad relationship, business dealings. You must know what God is saying to you today. I'll give you an example. I woke up this morning, I got a phone call or I received a message. And so I had a decision to make based on the message. I had two different places that I was supposed to be at the same time. And I remember last night the Lord said to us, you're different. I'm different. It's different for me than you. God sees me different. God moves different for me. It's not the same. Oh, Shabbat. And so even God with this word allows me to see that I had two places that I had to be at the same time. Impossible, right? And I said, well, I'm not going to make a decision when I got it last night. I'll wait and be quiet over the Lord, be quiet and see what God does. So I went to the one place that I thought that I should go as I rested and I got up. And so the place that I should go, I got to talk to some people and people got to see me and smile and all that kind of stuff. But some reason, God allowed me to leave the first place and go call the person that I decided not to go to and tell them that I couldn't make it. And then go to the first place, went to the first place, and I had to leave the first place. And then the guy at the second place told me, okay, Zari, you come here. So what would have been, which normally you wouldn't have been able to go to the second place. But because God made me different, and the things is different for the righteous than the unrighteous. It's different from the godly and the ungodly. It's different from the warm and the lukewarm. You either hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I'll spool you out. You understand what I'm saying? It's just different. And you can't make things the same. And so there are things that we must do as men and women of God. And you cannot be caught following people. I'm not going to follow your emotions. I don't care. Look, you want to be emotional and sensitive? You want to be angry? You want to be this? You want to be that? Listen, I'm not following you. And why would you follow? Listen, why would you follow behind a loser? Now, you see the people are evident that they don't have a good record. There's no need, and look, they don't have all the team players in place in order to be successful. So why would you choose this team? This team is not ready for the playoffs, anything. Listen, they got to start all over again. They don't have a foundation. They don't have the right things. These people are just dreamers. And I'm not a dream killer. They're just dreamers. And see, so God has matured you. You're not dreaming. You're wide awake. See, they're still sleeping. Oh, Shabbat. It's night and they daydreaming. They're looking in the skies and mystified and all that old stuff. You see, and it's real easy to do that with the internet and all this other stuff because that's just where they are. That's what they are. But I'm telling you right now, they're going to go too far, just as Cain did. That's why you don't want to do it. You don't want to go too far, that God curses you and his judgment finds you to the point where you will never, ever be able to get it right. You won't. So I'm saying to you today, don't follow him. Now, you got people, and in most cases, they're underqualified. I mean, listen, I know people that are older than me that I sit up there and I tell them, I say, man, I ain't doing that. And I don't care what you say. They'll look at me and say, man, I don't care what you say. I ain't doing that. Why? Because I know it ain't right. Then you get some young buck that you know, that's not even wet underneath the whistle and full of thistles, got thorns and all that stuff all in them. You know, they ain't put together, all messed up. That, you know, somebody done lied to them and told them they was all that, and they just went out there and ran with that stuff and don't even know what it's all about. But they're going to find out very soon. You know, there's no way in the world you would follow that. How can you follow behind that? You can't. I was telling somebody today, I said, you can never be bigger than what you come under. You can't. How you going to be 100-foot tree, plant a 100-foot tree in an 8-foot ceiling? It won't work. You ain't got enough space. You just can't do it. You need more space. And so you got to be careful what you come under. You don't need to be daydreaming with nobody. You don't need to be having fantasies. Look, you ain't got time to waste that. God is saying, do not do it. Oh, Shabbat. And you have to just really just be able to tell these people, no, guess what? I'm not doing that. You on your own with that. And some people, they're so, and look, just like Cain, they're stubborn and unlearned. They don't even look like anything. They look like it. And listen, I don't care how many times you tell them that wall is black, they will make it white. Because it's white. Listen, they colorblind. All they can see is white. They can't see that there's 5 colors on the wall. All they see is white. I mean black or blue. You understand what I'm saying? So they're not going to listen to you. In the book of Exodus, so you cannot follow with these people, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a business deal, a business partner, whether it be a church, whether it be a game, whatever it is. God is saying tonight, do not do it. Do not do it. What they want you to do, don't do it. Do not follow the crowd when it does what is wrong. I'm sorry. Exodus 23 verse 2. Do not follow the crowd when it does what is wrong. And don't allow the popular view to sway you into offering testimonies for any cause if the effect will be to pervert justice. Oh, Shabbat. On the other hand, don't favor a person's lawsuit simply because he is poor. If you come upon your enemy's ox or donkey stand, you must return it to him. If you see the donkey which belongs to someone who hates you lying down helpless under its load, you are not to pass him by, but to go and help him free it. Use charity. Where people are being nasty, you be kind. Where people are being arrogant, you be pleasant. Oh, Shabbat. That's right. That's right. You allow the peace of God to take over. People that have done you wrong, lend a helping hand. You don't walk over them. Oh, Shabbat. That's right. Listen, let me tell you something. If you want God's grace and mercy, you got to show it to somebody else. Don't overlook that person and you expect God to forget yours. See, you've been playing tough, and you've been playing this role like you're a boss all this time, and just to find out that you just a chump. Look, you've been uncovered and you're scared.